And welcome back into another edition of Fourth Down in the Steel City. I'm Chris Mack, Josh Taylor with me as always, and our intrepid producer, Greg Finley, who tries to keep us in line and is successful more often than not. He will make sure that if you are subscribed to Fourth Down in the Steel City, you will get those episodes as soon as they are ready. Not him personally, because he's a very busy man and he's not going to come knock on your door and say, hey, time for a new episode of the pod. No, he's just going to make sure it's posted. And if you do your part, subscribing to the podcast inside your favorite podcast apparatus, whatever it may be, on YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, inside your free Odyssey app, AUDACY, download it today, then you will get those episodes of Fourth Down in the Steel City as soon as they are available, including one like this on the weekend when we sit and predict all of the games. Greg, this is where you take over and lead us, sir, through the inimitable hot sheet.
I wish that we were allowed to play NFL Films music on podcasts because that would just make this segment even better.
I mean, I could recreate some. If I do more than like 5 seconds of that, they're going to take this video down. So.
I'm used to I'm carrying on. I like this right here. This is good old hot sheet memories, man. Sunday mornings revisited. I love it.
All right. Quickly revisiting last week.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we do. Me and Josh both went 8-8. Chris went 7-9. Some of the picks that we just really missed on. Jacksonville getting ran on by the Texans.
Who didn't miss that one?
We all took the Commanders, and Buffalo said, hey, we're still here.
Yeah. Hey, we can still run the ball. Watch.
Yeah. We all took the Vikings, and they should have won the game, but they out-Vikings the Chargers.
They out-admitted the Chargers, basically.
We all took the Falcons, and Detroit said, hey, we're still here.
Yeah.
We really did. And, you know what? I'm mad at myself for even picking against Detroit. My kneecaps were bloody and scarred. Detroit, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For not believing in your kneecap biting ability. I'm sorry. Samson, I lied to you. I'm sorry. If you know, you know. That's all I'll say.
Oh, man.
That's some that we hit on. We all got the Eagles. We all got the Seahawks. We all got the Dolphins. Good on us for all getting the Dolphins because they won.
We got one right.
That would have been embarrassing.
Yep.
All right, moving on to this week.
Yep.
We got a London game. Are you guys waking up?
We do.
You guys waking up at 9:30 for Toy Story?
Josh has kids. Of course he's getting up at 9:30.
I'll be awake already. I'm going to do the thing that I swear I never would do. I'm going to make a Friends reference. London, baby!
So you're going to watch the Toy Story cast?
I might. I really might. Honestly, I might.
It'll be cool. It'll be cool.
I'm curious.
All right. Jacksonville -3.5. They're taking on Atlanta in London. Chris, where are you going?
I got some serious questions now about the Jags, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt now and trust that they bounce back in this one. My questions about the Falcons kind of diminish week by week. I don't know why. Look, last week was ugly. I get it, but like I see some seeds of growth being sprinkled on the ground there in Atlanta. All of this is to say 3.5, that hook I really don't like. I really don't like the hook, but I'm going to lay it anyway because I trust Jacksonville gets back on track in a big home game for them against the Falcons in London.
Home with a wink there. And that's where I am with this because Jacksonville's done the London thing quite a few times. I don't remember exactly what their record is in games, but they've done this enough now to where I think they know how this goes. I think they know what they need to do, how to get themselves prepared, how to deal with all the travel and everything aspects and the time differences. I think this is old hat for them. I can't see them looking that bad on offense 2 weeks in a row because when they really started to figure out offenses when the game was already out of hand. So they had some garbage time production there. I don't see them looking that bad twice. So yeah, the 3.5 bothers me too. And I saw myself having more faith in Atlanta last week, and I don't think it was very well placed there. I'm not going to make that same mistake twice. So I'll stick with Jacksonville because I think they figure it out.
It hurt Atlanta that they got down early and didn't. Yeah. They weren't able to ride Bijan, and they made Ritter do too much, and that
agreed.
That caused problems whenever Ritter has to do too much. I'm also going to take Jacksonville and a bounce back.
Oh no, clean sweep! This could be bad news.
Although
the hook, Atlanta,
the hook brings us back, and that happened a good bit last week. So
It did indeed.
here's a fun one. Nance and Roma will definitely be doing this one. Miami at Buffalo. The Bills are -2.5 at home. I don't know, guys. After what I saw last week, I got to take Miami in the points.
Yeah. Do you have to?
Yes.
Here's the thing. They're undefeated. They're coming off a 70-point performance. I don't want to say complacency. That's probably not the right word. If that doesn't create a little bit of fat and happy in the Dolphins, right? They've gotten off to this hot start. The offense is flying high. Everybody's been kind of doubting the Buffalo Bills, who woke up last week, right? I think the Bills at home in this one, it would be first of all, let's make a rule. The Dolphins and Bills should always play reverse. Like, they should always play Miami in September when it's 100 degrees, and they should always play in Buffalo in December when it's like wind whipping and snow falling. I'm all here for that.
That's what they did last year.
I know. They screwed
I actually
it
like
up
that
the week
play.
before Christmas.
Yeah, they screwed it up this year. If I had to make a bet on this game, I would bet the over.
Yeah.
But I have to take a side here, and I filibustered long enough. Give me the Bills -2.5.
Josh?
I'm going to go with the Bills too, and mostly because Miami can't keep doing this forever. They cannot keep coming out and just lighting defenses up. And part of that's because of the matchups they're going to face. Here's something that you got to keep an eye on. Tua Tagovailoa has been sacked one time.
My God.
Literally one time. Buffalo's got 12 coming into this. And I think Buffalo, as far as the back end, I think as far as their linebackers and their secondary, I think they got a better group back there that might be able to keep Miami at least in check. They may not stop Miami, but they may slow them down enough times just to get enough stops as necessary to get off the field and get their offense back on. And Greg talked about it. You know, Buffalo might be figuring this out. Greg, remember we talked about it last year? God help the team that's facing Buffalo after they figure out that they can run the football. I was a year early with it. They figured it out now. So if Buffalo gets out to a lead early and they get to wear you down running the football, it could be a long day. So I will say Buffalo with the 2.5, only because I think their offense is at least good enough to not stop Miami, but slow them down enough and be able to make enough plays to win.
I mean, James Cook had 98 yards. Josh Allen had 46, and he scored a touchdown. Latavius Murray had a touchdown. So, yeah. They are running the ball in a more efficient way.
Yeah, more carries and yards by the running backs, please, Buffalo. Keep that going.
Not
the other way around.
I think Miami has found an identity that they can also run the football at an effective way with two-headed monster right now that is Devon. Apparently, it's not A-Chain, it's A-Chan.
A-Chan. Get it right.
Yeah. A-Chan.
Buffalo's got a front seven that can hang with the team's run game, too. Like
and
Buffalo,
Raheem Mostert.
If there's anybody that can hang with another team's run game, it might be Buffalo. So like I said, I think they can do just enough. I don't know if they're going to shut them down, but I think they might be at least able to contain them a bit.
All right. Well, I'll stick with Miami.
I don't blame you. After 70 points, I can't blame you at all.
True.
Toilet Bowl, Denver, Chicago, Bears +3.5. I'm taking the Bears at home with the points.
Oh, man.
They call this an anxiety bowl.
This is, man, what? Denver's laying the points on the road. Bears are a home dog
on the road. Yeah.
Okay. This is going to end in a 15-15 tie. So give me the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Josh?
This would appear a lot smarter if I didn't do the same thing last week and try to take the Bears to cover, because I took them covering what? It was like 13 and a half,
and they lost by 38.
Whoops.
It was a dumb move in retrospect, so now this looks even less smart.
Do you trust Denver?
No.
I don't trust either team. That's the problem. No. I don't know what to do with this because I don't trust Denver to go in and look like a team that deserves to win a game in the NFL, but I also don't trust Chicago to lose this game by 20 or to lose this game by less than 20. This pick will look a lot better if I didn't pick them to cover last week, but I'm going to go with Chicago just for the sake of them being the home team. And I'm Denver. Oh, God, making me look like an idiot.
I think Javonte Williams has a big game though, and maybe he's been bad the first couple of weeks, but a lot of experts are saying this is going to be the get right game because it's the Bears. But Russell Wilson is still the quarterback, and he is still
exactly.
Awful. He's only won them 5 games or 4 games. Like himself have won them 4 games
because he's.
But is it all him though? Is it all him? Because he's not out there giving up 70 points.
No. He's not responsible for the defense. That's what I'm saying. Right.
That's 1 week. He is responsible for them losing.
But he was not their. But he was not their coach last. No. We are not going to put the atrocity that was Nathaniel Hackett on Russell Wilson.
No.
I will not say
week 1 and week 2. I said not
week 1 and week 2. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll give you
not last year. Not last year.
But because we're talking about win totals, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not all on him. But your point is well made.
Are you kicking yourself for taking them in the playoffs?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That was sideshow Bob in a field full of rakes. I'm already there. Okay, that's without question.
All right, we'll move on.
I might change my pick once or twice between now and kickoff. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
I might change it a couple times.
I'm there too. Awful. I'm honestly there too.
God, this is bad.
Baltimore at Cleveland. Browns minus 2.5. Ravens got their first loss of the year against the Colts. I'm going to take Baltimore in the points.
That's, I think, the way to go here. I don't trust the Browns. The Browns are going to be, again this year, I think, the most inconsistent team in football. Mm-hmm. They will look 1 week like world beaters, and then the next week, the only thing they will have to hang their hat on is Myles Garrett's pass rush win rate. That's going to be the Browns all year. Up, down, up, down, up, down. So, yeah, I think the Ravens get back on track against the Browns this week. Yeah, give me Baltimore.
Did you just go from quoting Outkast to DJ Khaled? Really? We're doing that now?
Maybe. Okay. I've also got an Ice Cube sweatshirt on.
Which I love, by the way.
He did quote Outkast in the last episode, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. It's clean. I've got to keep the momentum going now. Yeah.
The Ice Cube sweatshirt, that was a good album. Greg may not know what we're talking about. Chris knows what I mean. This is the first time I'm going to go against my better judgment as far as the logic you guys just both put out there, because it all makes sense. I just have this feeling that Cleveland being at home and having a better opportunity to not screw this up as much.
That's always your logic.
This could be I'm just saying this could be a field goal game, because Chris loves to remind us games that are field goal games. If in Baltimore, I'm agreeing with you guys 100%. Mm-hmm. In Cleveland, this could be a field goal game. That's all I'm saying.
I'm giving you the Omar Epps face.
I know. I see it. I see you giving me the Omar Epps face.
So you're taking the Browns.
I don't hate this pick as much as I hate Denver and Chicago. I hate it, though. And I'm going to hate myself for going along with you guys for this, because I have every sign that says I should go against you. But I'm going to go with you and say Baltimore.
Oh,
okay. We brought him back around. Greg.
I'm I was trying to lay this out, that I'm wrestling with this because I hate this slate. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Okay.
Well, this one isn't going to help.
Yeah, it's not. It does not get easier, because now we're going to Cincinnati and Tennessee. The Bengals are yet to play a complete football game where you go, hey, they look pretty good. And the Titans scored 3 points last week, and Derrick Henry rushed the ball for 20 yards on 11 carries. For that reason alone, I'm going to take the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go the Bengals too. I saw somewhere, we worry all the time about how the Steelers run into stacked boxes. Mm-hmm. Derrick Henry has faced more stacked boxes than any other team in the league, far and away. They just keep running him into a brick wall. And so I don't suspect top 5 NFL head coach Mike Vrabel to figure anything out between now and Sunday. I think Burrow is going to slowly but surely get on track here as that calf sort of heals midstream as he plays. Bengals are laying less than a field goal against the Titans. Absolutely. Give me Cincy.
Can't they give Burrow the stuff that they gave Rodgers whenever he was on one leg and he lit up the Bears in the second half?
What, hallucinogens?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's legal.
I don't think they have peyote laying around. I don't think they have ayahuasca and peyote laying around the Cincinnati locker room. I don't know if that's possible. But
watch what's in Burrow's cigar this week, boys.
To that effect, I still trust a non-100% Joe Shiesty over I trust anything involving Mike Vrabel in Tennessee right now. For points that Chris laid out.
That's the right answer.
But also for the fact that Chris laid out, I thought, a really good case as to why Tennessee continues to struggle. And Cincinnati's defense, I thought they had a pretty strong showing against the Rams. I think people kind of overlooked them. I know the back half isn't as good as the front half, but the front half is still pretty good, and that should make it harder for the Titans. So, yeah, Cincinnati with the 2.5 on the road, easily.
All right, Josh, I'll start with you this time. I've taken it first the last couple of times. Rams are at the Colts. Indianapolis.
This one.
Indianapolis minus 1.5. Anthony Richardson most likely is back for the Colts.
I hate this one too. Because we don't know what the Rams are. The Rams are 1-2, but they played a really crazy offensive game against San Francisco. Was that just because they know what San Francisco is and they knew what to anticipate, or is their offense really legit? I think it's because they just knew what was coming to San Francisco.
Divisional game. Yeah,
I mean, they were terrible on Monday on offense. They couldn't get anything going.
They couldn't do anything against Cincinnati. Over. And they were also on the road in that game. I don't think it gets any easier here being on the road in Indy. And having Anthony Richardson back, I think, helps the Colts. But even if they got my guy Minshew on the field, I'd probably take Indianapolis anyway. So I'll go with the Colts.
What's the line on this thing?
1.5.
1.5. Colts 1.5. Okay. Yep. I'm just gonna make noises. Rams on the road. Aaron Donald, we trust.
Dominance incarnate. There he is.
I think he gets after Richardson, and even if it ends up being Minshew at some point, which it seems like an open possibility every week. Minshew mania, as much as we love it. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm going to trust in Aaron Donald.
You know who you sounded like when you were making those noises? Paul Zeiss.
At least he stayed awake. That's a good
one. So Chris is taking the Rams.
I am, yeah.
All right. I'm going to take Indianapolis. I saw a stat that their defense has just been incredible this year. I know they haven't played the greatest teams, but, I mean, they looked pretty good against Baltimore last week.
Yeah.
And I think
the fact that they stayed in against Lamar Jackson and that offense and did what they did in a game where their quarterback, as much as they say Minshew mania, like he could not win that game for them. Give the Colts credit. They stuck in that game.
Here it is right here. 23 tackles for loss, first in the NFL, 12 sacks, tied for second in the NFL, 7 forced fumbles, tied for second in the NFL. Wow. I'm taking the Colts.
Wow, Indy's defense. Okay.
Yeah, good numbers. Defense has been really good, and the Rams offense, like we said, it just didn't look very good on Monday night against the Bengals.
I, for one, feel better now. Thank you.
Chris, does that change your mind at all?
I reserve right to change that pick at a later date.
You sound like me now, talking about Denver and Chicago.
You guys need to text me, though, when you do that.
Well, yeah.
We do. Okay. All
right. Still in the 1 o'clock slate, Tampa Bay at the Saints. Alvin Kamara is back, but Jameis Winston is at quarterback against his former team.
No.
Chris, we'll start with you.
What is it, 3.5?
Saints 3.5 at home.
The hook brings you back. Give me Tampa.
Yeah, there's no Dubs being eaten in New Orleans, and if they are, it'll be as ugly and close as it was last week in Green Bay when they had that lead, or should say Green Bay had that lead and they actually managed to find their way back. New Orleans had the lead and Green Bay came back, right?
Well, yeah, it was 17-0 Saints, and you said, watch Jameis Winston blow this, and he did.
Yeah, he did.
And they came back and won that game. Yep. And by the way, Baker Mayfield, not looking too bad with that Tampa offense. Not looking too terrible. Even going into that dome, I think Tampa Bay can either win this or lose it by field goal. So yeah, the hook, I think it's going to keep me from. It's going to keep me on the Tampa Bay side too. I'll go Bucks.
The AFC South at the beginning of the year, we were all like, the Saints are probably going to win this division, no problem. Mm-hmm. Baker Mayfield and the Bucks are making a case like, hey, we still have talent, and as long as Baker doesn't screw it up too hard, I mean, Atlanta and Carolina aren't competing for the division, in my opinion.
Greg, it's September.
Yeah.
It's September. Baker waits to screw up when much more important things are on the line. Get back to me in November and December.
I'm just saying.
Oh, he's not wrong.
If Derek Carr's injury lingers and they got Jameis Winston for a while,
they're done. Yeah,
advantage Tampa. That's all.
Yeah. They can rob the train in this division for sure.
Yeah. I'm taking the Bucks and the points. I think they're going to win the game outright, honestly. Still in the 1:00 slate, Washington at Philadelphia. The Eagles are undefeated and they are -8.5 at home. I'll start with you, Josh.
You know what my first answer to this is, right? Anything Philly related is look at that defense and you throw up the ones immediately. But Washington's offense, man,
look what they did last week against Buffalo's defense. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, because the problem I have right now is I could easily take Washington and say, oh, they can cover and they can get stymied by a defense as good as Buffalo. And I could say, oh, Philly can stop this team. And then they, still win somewhat of a tighter game by 5 against New England or by 6 against Minnesota. But we talked about this last year, Greg, the 3 defenses I like the most in the league, San Francisco, Buffalo, and Philly. If for no other reason than Philly's defense, I got to go with the Eagles, even though it's a 2-possession game, but I think they can win it that way at home.
That all makes a ton of sense, but it feels like this is a 6.5-point game that got ratcheted up after everybody watched the way Washington got just absolutely blitzed by the Bills.
That's
and
fair.
It still feels like the Eagles are trying to find something offensively. There's still just a little something missing there. I don't know what it is, but it's still out there. And so division game, this big a number, second week in a row, I'm going to regret it probably, but I'm going to lean on the Commanders plus the 8.5.
He's going to win. We all know it. He's going to win.
This one might change for me too.
He did the same thing with the Vikings. Like, I'll take the Vikings, I guess. And then they backdoor covered.
This one might change for me too. Like it really might change between now and Sunday. Chris, you'll know this reference. You're John Steigerwalding us right now. You were totally like, okay, everybody's saying this, so I'm gonna go this way. You're doing old.
I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't do it to be contrarian. It just.
But I say that with great respect for the tactic because it won Steigerwald a lot of games and pick him doing that.
See,
he did that a lot. Like everybody thinks you're going this way, I'm gonna pick this one, and he would win. And we're like, seriously, he did it all the time.
I'm the Kevin James meme right now. Just.
I love that that's become a thing, but we're not on this thing right now. I'm going to take the Eagles. Eagles at home -8.5. Minnesota at Carolina. Panthers plus 3.5. The Adam Thielen revenge tour. Let's go. Carolina plus 3.5. Hammer it. No, don't. Hammer
someone has to win this game. Right?
I'm taking the Panthers.
Well, the last time we saw Minnesota in a game that someone had to win, they still couldn't win it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they were at home, were they not?
Mm-hmm.
Now they're in a game where someone has to win it, and they are on the road. And I am still going to reserve my right to refer to them as the Minnesota Vikings, in which case, and the Panthers being a 3.5-point underdog at home, they did it before when they covered against the Saints. I think they'll do it again. I think even if they lose this game, they'll cover. I'll say for no other reason than the hook and the Vikings being mid, I'll take the Panthers.
I have been feeling revenge tour, Josh. Let's go.
Chris, you look so conflicted.
I have been hiding my face for this entire segment, if you're watching on YouTube, because I feel dirty. Both of these teams were teams I picked preseason to be much better than they've looked the first 3 weeks of the season. I can still hold it.
Denver. Just admit it. Minnesota's your Denver.
Too.
They are. That's why I'm continuing to hide my face.
There you go.
All the logic in the world says to take the home dog Carolina Panthers, which is exactly why I will continue to hide my face and take Captain Kirk, baby, on the road to get the first win of the season.
You are so Steigerwalding this right now. Totally doing it.
Kevin James.
Here we go.
Yep, Vikings.
Chris.
I'm not even mad. I respect the hustle. Not even mad.
Vikings.
I mean, you can't go wrong with picking the team that's got Justin Jefferson on it, but
yeah, exactly.
Until you remember that everybody else is on that team.
They lost that game after Brandon Staley went for on his own 25-yard line. How do you lose that game when that happens?
It's tough. But they're bouncing back. They're bouncing back this week.
To throw a heater at Hawkinson instead of just throw a lob to JJ.
Look,
there's a lot of Jefferson.
There's a lot of manly energy in Kirk Cousins' aura, and so sometimes they come out a little hot. I'm sorry.
Is it orange? Is it orange?
It's red hot. Red hot. Captain Kirk brings it back. 1-3.
It's hard to be red hot 0-3. That's all I'm saying.
The run starts Sunday in Charlotte. Remember that.
Okay.
So
I hope someone believes that besides me.
All right. Final 1:00 slate game, and it's the Steelers and the Texans. Houston plus 3.5 at home. Josh?
This really plays into the Steelers' hands, right? Plus 3.5 even on the road. Even if they don't win, they can at least cover this.
No. Steelers are the favorites.
Oh, Steelers are favorites 3.5. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. I have it right in front of me, and I read it wrong. What does I tell you that my brain is right now? That said, wow, I just totally screwed up my logic with one glance. This also, for me, looks like a game where they can finally not necessarily ride their defense to the kind of win like they did against Cleveland, but their defense can be the thing that kind of provides the base level for the offense to really get more aggressive and put more points on the board and win by a wider margin. I'll still take the Steelers laying the 3.5 here, just because I think the defense will have opportunities to get after CJ Stroud and make him miserable and force him to make those mistakes he hasn't made yet, and the offense can turn that actually into opportunity. So I'll say the Steelers 3.5.
I think there will be some CJ Stroud mistakes. I agree in that much. I also think that this Steelers offense is still trying to find itself, and you don't want to be searching for yourself and your identity when DeMeco Ryans is on the opposite sideline. So
fair.
The Steelers are going to win. I think it's going to be uncomfortably close, though. So, again, the hook brings me back. Texans plus the 3.5, but not just to cover, not to win outright. Texans plus 3.5.
Okay.
Dude, you did it again.
No, I like Chris's logic because
I think this is going to be an uncomfortably close game. I really do. I think
remember
down to the final possession again.
You're talking to Mr. Bubba Sparks ugly over here. So I get it. I totally understand it.
Here's the two things I'm looking at. They forced 3 turnovers against the Raiders, which gave them more possessions, which gave them more opportunities last week. CJ Stroud has yet to throw an interception. I think that changes this week whenever he goes up against a very good Steelers defense and TJ Watt is blitzing him and getting in his face. I really think the Steelers win this game by double digits.
Okay.
Wow.
I hope you're right.
That's just me.
I hope so too. Wow.
Yeah. All right. 1:00 slate done. We move on now to some really bad 4:25 games.
I told you I hate the slate.
Dude, the 4:00 games have been awful this season so far. Las Vegas at the Chargers. Chargers minus 5.5.
Another game that someone has to win.
Yeah.
Ugh.
As much as Brandon Staley will try to screw this up, the Chargers will cover by a touchdown.
I think Eckler's going to be back this week, and that's a big deal. So, yeah, I like the Chargers as well, Chris.
Staley against McDaniels. Why? Why?
Twice a year.
Twice a year we get Staley and McDaniels. Just I'm with Chris. Even Brandon Staley can't screw this up. Give me the Chargers.
You think you're asking why? How do you think the announced team of Kevin Harlan and Trent Greenfield?
Harlan will somehow make that entertaining.
He will.
He will.
Justin Herbert will help Kevin Harlan make it entertaining. I'll say
4th and 3 from the 12. They're punting. Oh my!
Poor Andrew Catalon's having nightmares because he's got Denver, Chicago.
Oh my gosh! Oh man!
That's just
call
brutal.
HR. Call HR and file a complaint.
All right, so we're all taking the Chargers, which is kind of frightening.
Scary, yeah.
New England at Dallas. Cowboys looked awful last week against the Cardinals, so they're only 6.5-point favorites. For that reason alone, I'm taking the Cowboys because I think this is going to be a get-right game after what happened last week. I'll take Dallas at home in the points.
Yeah, Dak's going out of his way to limit turnovers this year, and he just had a very bad game in that regard. He bounces back in a big way, especially at home. They cover by at least a touchdown, yeah.
Ooh, I'm the only one thinking the opposite here. If there's anybody that can find a way to give Dak a hard day, it's Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
I think Dallas can win this game, but it's going to be harder to come by than people think. I say at the very least New England covers the 6.5.
Apparently, it's not just Bill Belichick; it's also the Cardinals.
Yeah, and I say that because the Cardinals beat them. New England played Philly close, and that was a 5.5-point game. I'll go with New England here.
You think Ezekiel Elliott has a revenge game?
No.
Not against that defense.
Yeah.
Look,
Connor and Dobbs ran the ball effectively. I think Stevenson might have a good game, but
that's just mind-blowing, by the way, for a Steelers fan from 2019 or 2020. You tell them that James Conner and Josh Dobbs are going to go off to Arizona and beat Dallas in week 3. They're just like...
After they got absolutely embarrassed by the Commanders in week 1.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, super happy for Josh Dobbs, but man, that is his Nexus event as Nexus event gets.
Exactly.
It's a multiverse. Man. It's a multiverse.
It must be. Wow.
Speaking of Josh Dobbs, Arizona plus 13.5 at the 49ers. Josh, are you buying into the Josh Dobbs hype?
Even if I was, that Cardinals defense ain't slowing down Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle. They're not. They had their day against Dallas because they were so much of a lead that Dallas was forced to become one-dimensional. That ain't happening against San Francisco. They're still the best team they're the best team in the NFC in my regard. It's still them in Philly. I think they're 1-1A. That's not changing for me. Not in Santa Clara. San Francisco by 2 touchdowns. I could see this happening. This could be a 3-possession game.
Yeah, man. See, all the things momentum-wise point towards Arizona not getting embarrassed in this situation. But all the logic that you just laid out leads to San Francisco just asserting themselves as the dominant beast that they are. So this might be, man, 14 points, though. Man.
Remember, they let the Giants come back and beat them with the lead that they had.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, Niners laying 14. At home, too. I'll do it.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
They're not getting that lead. Arizona's not getting the lead they had on Dallas and New York. They're not. They're not going to.
Not against that defense.
Not against that defense. Exactly.
Yeah.
And McCaffrey will just run all over them. Oh, they need to start flexing games earlier in the season.
I know where this is going.
Kansas City. That's a good start.
Yeah.
Who are they playing? Oh, they're playing Zach Wilson and the New York Jets. Chiefs minus 9.5. I think they win by 30. I'll take the Chiefs. This is my survivor pick. Pick.
Okay. You need to calm down. See what I did there? Taylor Swift reference.
Too much star 100.7 Chris here.
Yeah. And country Chris for that matter too. Swifty plays over there as well. 9.5. Yeah, Chiefs win by double digits. I'll lay 9.5.
They beat the Bears by 38. They're gonna beat the Jets by 30.
And then one of the players is gonna fight Salah at midfield, and things are really. My only regret here is that Hard Knocks should have been in season Hard Knocks for the Jets.
Dude, Garrett Wilson, he's so mad right now. He's getting like no touches.
If Zach Wilson was your quarterback, would you be happy?
No, I mean, not at all.
All I gotta say about that situation is this. They drafted him, so
correct.
You made that bet. How do I find a nice way to say this?
Everybody saw it coming because he's not a big quarterback. He's a tiny kid.
Right. What's a nice way to say this? There's going to be a lot of dentures flying around MetLife Stadium. I'm going with the Chiefs.
That was amazing, by the way.
Not the best thing ever. Oh man! Oh.
I mean, credit to that
my
dude for like
gosh.
catching him midstream though and
Oh, he
popping
did.
him back
He did. That was
in.
impressive.
You know what I mean? Like they
everybody
could have
got
ended
that-
up. If here's the question: if your teeth fall out and hit the stadium floor, do you put them back in, or do you wait until you get home and like scrub them off, bleach them?
If you tailgated before the game, they're going back in.
Okay.
If you're that
That
guy,
is the-
he put him right back in.
That's the right
That's
answer.
qualifier. I'll say this: everybody had that one, either that great uncle or their grandpa that at family functions and
Mhm.
holidays always had the tricks for the kids.
Yep.
There you go.
Hey kids, look at this.
So Chris,
Oh,
did you
just
see the
talk on your log.
did you see the viral video of the fans cursing out Zach Wilson? They're like, "Hey, these tickets aren't cheap, Zach."
No. You know what? Zach's going out with those guys' moms on a date next week. So
Hold up. I understand that these people bought these tickets with the expectation of seeing Aaron Rodgers, but folks, you're still Jets fans. Okay? You're still Jets fans.
Point well
One
taken.
of the most expensive places in the country where inflation is a thing. No sympathy. I'm sorry.
And it's the Jets. You're
You know
not
what you're
allowed.
walking
You're
into.
not allowed to have fun if you're
Yeah,
the Jets.
you're not allowed to
You're
complain.
not allowed to have nice things.
No,
Correct.
exactly.
All right, so
You
we're
live
all
in-
taking the Chiefs. then.
Speaking of terrible New York football fans and teams, give us the Monday night matchup, Greg.
Man,
Back-to-back
Seattle.
days of misery at MetLife.
Seattle,
Oh,
that looks intriguing, right? Seattle. Who are they playing? They're playing the Giants. Oh, that's fun. How about this though? It's only 1.5 for the spread. Seattle
How
minus
is-
1.5.
I thought it was the Giants minus 1.5.
Nope. Seattle minus 1.5.
You sure? Because I'm looking at it right now.
Unless it flip-flopped.
I'm looking at the app right now, unless ESPN must have changed it.
They have Giants minus 1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
All
got
right.
it right here in the app.
I'll take that then. Seattle
Okay.
money line all day.
Exactly. That's what I'm like, wait, how is the Giants minus 1.5?
I mean,
what are we missing?
is there a chance
I don't
Saquon
know.
comes back this week? No. I mean, day to day with I mean, okay, so here's the deal. If Saquon comes back, I will lay the 1.5 or 2 points that it'll end up being. But if Saquon is not back, which I don't suspect he will be, yeah, give me Seattle in the points. Absolutely.
Geno Smith can walk into MetLife and win this game with or without Saquon. Sorry.
Have you
I'm not
seen-
sold on the Giants.
Have you seen Kenneth Walker's numbers this year? Nobody's stopping that guy right now. And what
Right.
McCaffrey did to the Giants,
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth Walker can do that as well.
Kenneth Walker could do that to anybody, in fairness. He could do that to anybody. He's
What's-
been doing that since he was in Michigan State. So
What's your guys' survivor picks this week?
Who did I take?
I am not in a
Man.
survivor pool this year, which makes me glad that I'm not, because I don't know if I would have had a confidence pick for this
I
one. 'cause,
I
my
think I
God.
did end up like you, Greg, taking the Chiefs. I think
Yeah.
that was the play for me.
That looks like the biggest slam dunk of the weekend.
Or no. I'm sorry. I took the Niners. Niners against the Cardinals. Yeah. Because
That would probably be mine.
I love how many people took the Cowboys last week. That was glorious.
I mean,
Oh, no.
had to
The
eliminate.
Bears
like-
and Chiefs was right there.
Yeah. So was 49ers Giants.
Right there, man.
And a lot of people
Actually,
took
Kansas City,
Jacksonville too.
Kansas City or San Francisco are both good.
Yeah. All right. That's Hot
All right.
Sheet brought to you by
That's-
your sponsor here.
There you go. Nice work, Greg. Thank you again to everybody for tuning in to another edition of Fourth Down in the Steel City. If you're just catching this like out of the middle of nowhere, you're like, who are these people? What is going on? Go back and check out the previous episodes because we've done all week leading up to Steelers, Texans, and we will have you covered post-game as well. A fresh episode late Sunday night, early Monday morning for you as well. Again, you got to subscribe to make sure you get it as soon as it's ready. Find it on YouTube on the 93.7 The Fan channel or wherever you get your podcasts, including inside your free Odyssey app, AUDACY. Download it today and get it right here, Fourth Down in the Steel City.